Little episode of Tom's Tricks. Last time I talked about people using this ChatGPT as a toy, and it's quite a tool. Well, I've spent about 100 hours, maybe a little more, playing with this ChatGPT. It's done tremendous amount of things. It's enabled me to unlock my car, fix a alarm system, fix lawnmowers, tell me what kind of carburetors were here, give me parts list, on and on and on. I've used this for a lot of stuff. I mean, 100 hours is probably a bare minimum that I've spent on this thing. Now I see these courses, AI mastery, and they got 15 things, and they guarantee you 15 minutes a day on each one of these things. In a month you're going to be a master. You're unstoppable. You can't even understand the definition in 15 minutes. I've spent 100 hours at least on ChatGPT. And it's taken me to places I never thought I'd go. I was on the internet before there was an internet, and I used to write web pages, and I was pretty good at it, but this was 30 years ago, 40 years ago almost. And so today, I don't know anything. I'm a caveman. I'm out there hammering on a rock with a cell phone. But for example, I made several tools. You can tell it you want to do this and this and this and the other thing, and it'll tell you what you need to do. And I've got a website that I've had for, I don't know, many years, and it's just sitting there. So I started trying to put some of these tools online. One of them I made is a grandpa tracker. You see, grandpa's not supposed to be driving at night. And so this AI WatchDog, it depends on what level you want to track grandpa, has a little camera, a cheap camera that you can put on the car, and it has a GPS tracker. And grandpa gets up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he decides to go for a Sunday night drive down Main Street, and he's not supposed to be driving at night. So this thing recognizes that, grandpa tried to start the car. It'll let you know that, he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing. Now, you can't say, grandpa, give me your keys, because that's going to cave him in. He's not going to like that much at all. So he gets to keep his keys, but you get to track when grandpa's driving, you see. And it'll disable the car if he's trying to drive it outside of his specified time. I mean, this could be applied to many things. The guy's a drunk driver, and it determines he's by a bar and won't let him start his car. There's so much stuff, but the thing is that this ChatGPT is so intelligent. It's not intelligent. It has massive amounts of data. Hello there, Nut and Alicia. Glad to see you on the channel. Just old man trying to figure out AI, and I learned a bunch of stuff here. So anyway, I could get this thing to work okay, but then it has to be put on the internet. It has to have access to the GPS. It has to have this. It has to have that. You can see that there would probably be quite a bit of technology involved in just getting this thing to hook up and work. Well, it turns out that, you can build a tool I built one for diagnosing paint jobs. My eyes aren't any good anymore. I can take a picture of the car, and it says, it's 80 grit scratches, you need to sand it with 220, or you need to polish this, or your paint's too thin there. It's really good, and it'll work standalone in my phone. But if I wanted to make a tool out of this and put it on the internet, it's not standalone anymore. See? So I pay so much a month for this service. It's not much, $20 or something. But if I want to put something on the internet, it has to have a key. So I can generate a key, and I can hook it up, and it'll use my key, but then I get charged for however many times I use this grandpa tracker or this painter in a can. I made 10 or 15 in a can tools. One of them's title search. Somebody's got a bad title, they need a title, so it'll go to their state and pull up everything that's there and tell them exactly how to fix the title. This is all good if you got it on your phone standalone. But if I've got a tool that I've got on the internet, it doesn't have any data on the internet. It's just sitting there. So you have to tell it, you give it some knowledge files, what it needs to know, a bunch of pictures about 220 grit or whatever. When it's on the internet, it really can't access the internet. So anyway, you have to have certain files in order for it to work. And they have to be hosted on the internet. Well, there's a couple services. One of them is called GitHub. And when you write a file on your computer, like a knowledge base or something, it automatically picks it up and then pushes it to a server. It's a different thing. And this is called render. So it pushes this file to render. Render goes through its calculations and then sends the data to your tool that you got working there, like your grandpa tracker. It tells it whatever it tells it. But the thing is that it's not just as simple as making the tool, putting it up on the internet, and it works. So you have to give it knowledge files, and through this GitHub and render, it picks up that file, pushes it over, and then render translates it into the tool that you're using, and then it checks for a key that you've got that you can use ChatGPT, and it's all good, and then it tells you Grandpa's trying to sneak out at 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, there's a lot of data that goes into doing this. There's a lot of technical, high-level programming stuff that goes into this. This was all completely new to me. I don't know anything. I'm just an old guy out here trying to make something work. And so I finally got it all working. And it's taken me 100 hours. Okay, I made 10 or 15 tools, but to get one of them to work, you got a whole lot of steps just to get one to work. Once you got one working, well, it's easy to make another 50. But I'm just telling you that I might take today, that 15 minutes on 20 tools is not going to make you a master at all. I spent 100 hours on ChatGPT, and basically what I can do is tell it exactly what I want to be done, and it'll write all the code and do all that fancy stuff. But it's a very intelligent mind, but if you don't tell it what to do exactly where it understands, you're going to get a crazy result. I told it to make a picture of a trailer with a car on it. Well, it made me a picture of a trailer, right? And the car was on sideways on top of the sideboards, Couldn't understand why it wouldn't work on the sideboards. But anyway, this is just my take today. After 100 hours of playing with this thing, I can, safely say that there's no way you're going to be a master in 15 minutes. Anyway, that's it. I don't know if I'm still recording. Yeah, it looks like I'm still recording. But thanks for checking in, guys. I don't know how you found me, but hey, that's my take. Don't expect to spend 15 minutes on anything and have any kind of proficiency, 100 hours, and yeah, you'd probably get pretty good at something, but I can see that, it's going to take me a lot more than 100 hours. I don't know how to end this thing. Just start poking buttons, I guess. Maybe this little X button in the top.